Hey everybody, what's good? It's your phase Reality Unloaded podcast, and tonight we'll be covering the challenge, Battle of the Eras, the first official episode, the Era Invitational Part 1. It's your girl Keeks.
And I'm Brandon.
And Lena D is not with us tonight, but she'll be back for part 2 next week. So be on the lookout. If you're looking to hear from Lena D, you'll hear from her next week. Our girl is away at this point, but we're here for y'all. So, we're here. Finally, we made it. It feels like a long time coming. Like everything has been announced so early. If you guys obviously follow the show, the socials and everything, they've been promoting it heavy. And I actually just saw an article that apparently this is like the best ratings the show has had, or MTV has had with the challenge in a long time. Yup. So clearly the engagement, the promotion that they've been doing has been working. We did see a couple things though, Brandon, in the comments of like the challenge Instagram page. And I just want to highlight that like some people were having trouble watching it on the MTV.com website, or like they couldn't access it. So I am curious if those numbers would have been higher if they did have access to it. Like for those that don't know, it's not being streamed on Paramount Plus, which is interesting considering they have this whole merger thing going on. So apparently a lot of people were just like left in the dust and they couldn't watch it last night. Hopefully that changes with the next upcoming weeks, or at least by next week's episode. But yeah, do you have any comments about what we saw in those IG comments?
Just get it together, because
right,
some of they were mad.
Yeah, they were mad. So like production, get it together, MTV, whoever, merger, Paramount Plus, whatever it's called now. Y'all need to get it together because the fans want to watch the show, and apparently it's not as accessible anymore, especially now that the MTV app no longer exists. So y'all got to work on that. But before we get into the episode, just want to make sure to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to let us know y'all's your thoughts on our thoughts. Make sure to hit that comment button on the last video that we did, which was the blind ranking of the season 40 cast. I mean, hey,
I'm still traumatized.
You're very traumatized from that moment. It was wild, but it was still a very fun video. So please make sure to check it out, and make sure to follow us at Reality Unloaded Pod on Instagram and Reality Unloaded Podcast on TikTok. Just to keep up with us. And of course, we'll be covering the entire season. So we're in for a ride, y'all, especially with this first episode. I mean, come on now. Definitely a foreshadowing of what's to come. So I'm going to let Brandon take it away with how this episode goes.
Yeah, this episode, it started out with a bang. So we have TJ coming out, and he basically explains that this is the most amount of contestants ever to be on a season. And he kind of gives us the overall format. He explains that there's 4 teams of 10 that are split into eras. So era 1 represents seasons 1 through season 10. Era 2 represents season 11 to season 20. Era 3, season 21 to season 30. And era 4, being the newest, are season 1 to season 39. And he gives us the prize amount, which is $1 million. And I was kind of surprised by that, because I thought, bringing all of these heavy hitters into the game, the prize would be a little larger. But I have my own theory on that. But what are your thoughts on that, Keeks?
I wanted the prize pot to be a little bit higher. I do think because of the fact that there are so many legendary players, they obviously have to consider compensating them for the season. So maybe they were just like, yeah, max 1 million. We can't do much. But I will say, like, considering that season 39 with that cast, they didn't get to 1 million. Maybe they were like, okay, with the fact that we had that gap of not having that grand prize that high, maybe it won't bother people much. But I just feel like it was already expected by many that it was going to be 1 million anyway. So.
See, I think because there are so many heavy hitters in the game, they had to pay a lot of appearance fees. and they were very hefty appearances.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, $1 million, not surprised. I don't think anyone was surprised, but yeah, wish it was a little more. But speaking of the $1 million, there are some contestants that say exactly what they plan to do with the money. Like Amanda, for example, says that she wants to open up a bank account for her child, and Corey says that he's hearing wedding bells. If he wins the money, he's gonna get married. And I'm like, Corey, you ain't getting married.
No, don't put that. He'll probably get married. Come
Well,
on,
not that he's not getting married, but I'm just like, come on now.
He got that teen mom money too. He got that check from over there too. So
exactly.
Who knows?
So,
but before we get into it, right? We don't know. Hey, who knows what goes? Anyway, before we get further into it, though, I do want to comment on the fact that like CT got so emotional. I was so surprised by that. Like once TJ was obviously giving the introduction of like how grand this is, making it to season 40, and obviously these players, especially from era 1, and even from era 2, but the fact that they've been around for so long, CT obviously explains that he's just very emotional, and as we all know, or we may not know, but CT did go through a lot the last few years, and that was like a huge reason as to why he wasn't coming back, especially after winning 2 championships. He was going through a lot personally with his like ex-wife, and then obviously his son, and then he won Traders, and I honestly believe that Traders motivated him to get back into the game. So it was just really touching to see CT get emotional, and it's just like, yeah, because we've seen CT grow up. You know, he's matured to this like old unk pretty much on the show. Man, my bad, not old unk, unk for real.
But yeah, it was nice to see CT get emotional. And again, we've seen his growth, so seeing him in this is important and needed to happen. But moving on to the game, so after TJ explains what the money amount is, he also says, but in order to have a shot at the money, you have to make it through the era invitational. And I'm like, TJ, we just started the episode. You hitting us with this already?
Right. A whole purge, like at the start of the episode. Actually, I want to know your thoughts. How do you feel about the purge being this early in the first episode? Because I'm like conflicted.
I mean, I like it. I'm excited about it. It got me pumped. It got me ready for the season. I just hope my favorites don't leave early, because then if my favorites leave early, I'll be mad. I won't say who my favorites are yet, but
if you watch our last pod with the blind ranking, you'll see who our favorites are. No, but I agree. I also just felt like, dang, like this doesn't give people the opportunity, or like these the tension that is brewing between some of these cast members to really like evolve, and for us to watch the drama unfold. So that's what kind of bothered me. I was like, dang, like I wish this came like on episode 3 or something, you know? Or even like episode 4. Like I understand the necessity of having a purge. I'm not against purges at all. I just felt like it was a little too soon, but I was also like, dang, I wasn't expecting it, so I was also pleased by that. So yeah,
and I mean, I was honestly overall I was excited, because there's a lot of people in there. I'm sorry, they could go. So
there's a lot
within the purge, right? Within the purge, though, TJ explains that there'll be 8 eliminations, and almost half of them will basically be seeing the sand, which is kind of crazy because usually people try to avoid eliminations, but they're all most of them are gonna have to go down either way, which I think is fair. So I think it really like put a fire under their asses in a way to get it together.
No, for sure. I think so too. And the fact that he said it, he's like, there's gonna be 32 challengers left at the second challenge. Like point blank period, 8 of y'all are out.
Gone.
Insane.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But we then get into the challenge immediately. Again, crazy. So this challenge is called Light Up, and the premise is the players will basically race to a puzzle station with their team color, and they'll have to complete a geometric puzzle that forms the number 40. After they're done with that, they'll have to paddle to the dock, and there's a coracle around the lake, and swim that over to collect 10 lights with their team colors. And after they get back to shore, where they'll place the lights on the board, is where they have to basically check in to win. And then we get the information that the first man and the first woman of each team to finish are automatically safe, while the last place finishers are automatically going into elimination. So again, with the fire being lit under their asses, like, this is another scary thing too, because you just don't know what's going to happen.
Right. And again, it's like, if you don't win, then you might be up for elimination. Point blank period, you're up for elimination. Like, you're not guaranteed safety unless you win. I will say I love the fact that this was like a nighttime challenge. I love the nighttime challenges, for real, for real. I just feel like it just makes a level of difficulty, obviously, is a little bit, it's more difficult at night.
And it looks cooler too.
It looks cool. It looks so cool. I was like, okay, challenge, I see y'all.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really good. And
budget.
Yeah, like they saved all their coins from last season to finally get their shit together for this season, for sure. So yeah, we see them get into it. We obviously, some people like struggling to do the puzzle. You know, CT, he mentions like a CT tip, which I thought was also very, very cute.
That was funny. Yeah,
that was funny. Even though I was like, okay, don't overkill it. Don't do it for the rest of the time that he's on the season. Like, this is cute for now. But he was like, you know, look at each piece before you build, because there's probably other shapes or geometric shapes or whatever within the puzzle that will also give you clues as to how to build it. And he was very smart. Again, we saw several people struggling. We see like Ryan obviously says that he wants Derek to win because he knows he's the only one that wouldn't choose him in case he does land in the bottom. Olivia says
which
that
she doesn't want interesting. Really quick,
he was already speaking,
because already speaking about Derek saving him. Like, can you just? It's the first challenge. Y'all just got in here. Like, can you try?
When are you gonna save Derek? Right,
exactly.
Right. Then Olivia, obviously, they touch on their beef from last season. She doesn't want Reese to win. Okay. Rachel says she's there to win because she's one of the best. And hello, damn sure is. And then Cara, of course, I'm not gonna lie, this Cara Laurel thing, I'm over it.
It's getting dragged out. I'm
over it. But yeah, Laurel emphasizes that nothing has changed between her and Cara, and that they'll always be rivals, and that she feels like Cara is like an anchor to her, or weighs her down, or always wants to. I don't know. I was just like, Cara, Laurel, there's a difference between Cara being your competition because she's that great, or somebody that wants to tag along with you because you consider them some sort of layup of some sort. Like, let's not make it seem that way. Tony was struggling really bad. He kept saying, check. TJ said, bro, it's wrong. It's no. And
that was hilarious.
Can we talk about this Anissa comment? Because Anissa's like, oh, she wants her 14th elimination win so that she can beat Cara. And I'm like, but you still have mad losses. So what are we talking about here?
I think she just wants a title. She doesn't like being tied with Cara at the moment. And she's like, if I could get this, then I'll be, relevant enough within the franchise.
That's the only title she's going to get. That's the only title she gonna get. So I guess, wishful thinking, and she's gonna get that wish to come true because, as we know, she did poorly, and she's most likely going to elimination to the Era Invitational.
I'm just like, girl, you don't want to go into the elimination. That's the whole point. So just why?
That could be editing too. That could be editing. They could have placed it there because we're gonna talk about editing when it comes to this challenge, since so many of the challengers had so much to say on social media. And
Mm-hmm.
there were just a lot of funny moments. Obviously, Tina on the little boat saying that like it feels like a teacup because it's just like teetering all over the place. And then there's some people that are dusting the competition, like Laurel. I'll give Laurel her flowers. I'll give her her dues. Laurel dusted the competition, y'all. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was the first one to finish the puzzle. It seemed like Cara and her were neck and neck, but Laurel apparently clarified that no, she was way ahead of everybody. And I mean, I felt like she didn't have to say nothing because she won at the
I
end of
mean,
the
at
day.
the end of the day, two girls dusted the whole competition in general, and that speaks upon itself.
Yes. Like out of 40
So,
people,
mm-hmm,
they were the top two.
crazy.
Insane.
Yeah,
So yeah.
Nehemiah even made the comment that the era 2 is the era of the strong women in general, and he's all here for it. And I couldn't agree with him more because I think within the eras, they definitely do have the strongest women.
Yeah, they do. I mean, listen, Cara had pointed it out. She was like, we got Aviv, she's a champ. Got Laurel, she's a champ. Got me, I'm a champ. Kellyanne is a firecracker. She is scrappy as hell. She's gonna do what she gotta do. And who's
Mm-hmm.
the and Emily. She's also a
Emily.
champ. So yes. I'm sorry. I'll be forgetting about Emily. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, Laurel doesn't because she mentions her later on, but we'll get
Oh
into
yeah,
that.
she's so strong and has muscles. Like, okay, and so does Kara. It's very weird. But anyway, so yeah, Nehemiah points that out. Honestly, CT and Rachel, they did great. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people, I know a lot of people were worried about Era One and how well they were gonna be performing. I mean, don't sleep on Era One because majority of them were done, or at least that's how it looked like based on the edit, that era one was done
Mm-hmm.
before all of the younger people in the other eras. That's at least how
I mean,
they made
and
it seem.
it just speaks to how like they use their smarts. Like a lot of the younger guys are just muscle and not necessarily a lot of brain.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised to
Yeah,
see the era 1 people doing amazing.
no, me either, not at all. One thing that I do want to point out is while Nerys finishes the puzzle first for era 4, but she ends up coming in last, and she is very upset by it, which understandably so. But it's also just like, Nerys, you gotta practice when it comes to the water challenges. Something's gotta give, sis. Like
Mm.
you gotta practice a little bit more. Do some of these things with Horacio when y'all do y'all little cute little dates and stuff like that.
But it's like,
Something
how do you even practice for that? Like to get in a little,
by
what is it called, a
paddleboarding or
coracle?
something. I don't know.
I don't know, because
I
you
mean,
also don't know how rough that water is, and like it's nighttime, you might get disoriented. I don't know.
but it
Like
didn't look that
it's
rough.
one
It
of
didn't
those
look that
things
rough.
that's like it's kind of like a carnival game in a sense where you just don't
Mm,
know.
I don't know. I just feel like, I get it. Like it's frustrating, and I felt for her because I was like, damn, I wanted Nerys to obviously be safe. But hey, it
Mm-hmm.
is what it is. We see Katie. Okay, like
Poor Katie.
Katie.
Katie would have been me.
Katie was spinning around and around and around in that dang little coracle thingy. She could not stand a chance, and I just felt so bad. And she tells Tina like she's spinning in circles like a dick. And Tina's trying to encourage her. And like that's the commentary that I miss on the challenge. Like just
Mm-hmm.
straight, authentic, just unfiltered commentary is just so funny. And I don't care what nobody said. Like, I love Katie. Point blank period. Y'all are probably thinking, oh, that's just a wasted space or whatever. And I'm like, guys, I'm sorry. Like, we're gonna see the same thing over and over again. We already kind of are getting that. So I'm okay with Katie coming back anytime because I just need her there for her entertainment, like the entertainment that she brings.
Katie is definitely pure entertainment. I missed her on my screens. Like she might not be like the best or strongest girl ever, but
Mm-hmm.
she gives us entertainment. She's like Tina. They both do what they got to
Right.
do.
Right. Oh, and shout out to Tina, because Tina coming in second place for Era 1. I said, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Tina. Look at
Yup.
you. Good for you. But anyways, back to the challenge. So the Era 3 boys are the last ones in the water, and it turns out to be Devin and Leroy. Jordan was ahead of them and got to shore before them. But Devin's little boat actually capsizes, and he ends up being able to swim to shore, which, surprise, surprise, apparently you're not supposed to be doing. So here we go with these problems off rip, guys, with production,
Mm-hmm.
allowing people to
Playing
do things,
favorites.
playing favorites. And the reason why we know that is because Ryan went on Instagram and stated that his boat also capsized, but he was told he had to go back, he had to swim back to shore, get a new boat, and then paddle to shore. And pretty much that made him come last when he was really in third place. Um, I feel like because of the fact that Devin was allowed to swim like that, I do wish that Leroy, well, maybe we didn't see it. I do wish that Leroy would have said something to production or at least called them out on it. And I don't know if he really did. I don't think he
Or
would.
if I saw him swimming, I'm gonna do the same thing. Even though I know Leroy is not the greatest with water, but
Right.
I would have done the same thing. Like,
Yeah, exactly. But I think Leroy was just so far behind. He couldn't, because I think he
mm-hmm.
even said it like he thought other people were in the water with him at a certain
Yeah.
point. So it just sucks that Devin got away with that. But again, it's also like, Leroy, if you don't say nothing, like, let's be real. The people in your era, like Tori and Jordan, they're gonna stand up
That
for
boy.
Devin over you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and that's unfortunate. Like, so I really wish, he would have said something or somebody else would have pointed it out, because I just felt like Devin went away like unscathed with that. And yeah, but it is
Yeah.
what it is. But Brandon, go ahead and let us know who the losers and the winners were for each era.
So I'll start it off with the winners to celebrate a little bit. So the winners from each era are Era 1 being Rachel and CT, Era 2 being Laurel and Bananas, Era 3 being Tori and Corey, which I thought was funny because it rhymed. Era 4 being Michelle and Horacio. And then the losers from each era are Era 1, Katie and Mark, Era 2, Kellyanne and Ryan, Era 3, Naya and Leroy, and Era 4, Nerese and Theo. So were you like surprised by any chance from who the losers were? Were you expecting other people to be winners? Like, what are your thoughts?
I'm not surprised by the winners. I'll be honest, I'm not surprised by the winners at all. I am more surprised by the losers. I did think that maybe Kellyanne would have performed a little bit better. Um, Naya and
Or maybe she
Leroy.
did. Maybe she
Oh yeah,
did, and just the
yeah,
girls were just killing it in her
killing
era.
it. That's true. That's true. And honestly, I was surprised because Nerese was she had such a huge lead with how quick she finished the
Mm-hmm.
puzzle for her era. Again, she was the first one to get to the little boat. So I just felt like, dang, like I don't know how Nerese lost that. Like, truthfully, like I was just very surprised by her the most out of the losing group.
Yeah, definitely. I would say for me, um, I would say maybe like Mark, if anything. I kind of in general, just because of how stacked the cast is, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not surprised by everyone that ended up being losers. I was surprised though for the Era 3 winner for the boys. Corey really pulled that out.
I mean, yeah, he did, and he said it. He's been practicing doing puzzles with
Mm-hmm.
his daughters. I said, "Dang, about time. Maybe you need to have more
Right.
kids so you can practice more." I don't know, but damn, like it's about time, Corey. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't surprised by the winners at all. Horacio like also ate that.
Killed it.
So I could understand why Nerissa was so pissed. Like, her man is at the top, and then she's at the bottom, and then she's also up against. Because hold on, let me point something out. Did you see when Michelle, Olivia, Jenny, and Casey
did
put
the
their hands
little yup?
I said,
I peeped
oh,
that.
I said, oh, okay, so this is what we're doing. Interesting.
They already are like counting her out, and that's
Yeah.
probably why too, though. Like she's just like very frustrated in a sense because I don't know if she saw it from a distance or not, but they probably just are very like clicky already with each other, and she's kind of on the outs of that, and she knows she doesn't really have the numbers. So unfortunately, but I mean, I have faith in her. Who knows? Maybe she'll pull it out of somewhere like she did last season.
Yeah. All right, so those are the winners and the losers. Let us know if y'all are surprised by any, truthfully, or if you expected somebody else to win. Let us know in the comments for real. Even chat it up right now while we live, okay? But then we get to the second half of the episode, and they're back at the house, and it starts off by Ryan letting us know Laurel ain't the like Cara don't got beef with. Cara's not the only one with beef. With Laurel. I have beef with Laurel. And I'm like, oh.
He says that Laurel will be the poison for his era, and he doesn't trust her at all. And Derek C actually mentions that he feels a little caught in the middle because he's built a bond with both Laurel and Ryan. But of course, Ryan's his best friend. But it was just interesting to see that this is kind of starting because of the girl who's not even there.
Yes, like the fact that this has to do because this is all because of Nicole Z. See, like Nicole Z, the toxicity, like that drove Ryan up the wall. Clearly, he was over it. He said, "No, I'm over it." Laurel and what I saw, whatever they went through on the off season, it must have been a lot because they were good.
And remind me again. Laurel got mad at him because he was hanging out with Nicole, or
I don't even know for real. I don't even know.
Some drama.
Some drama that relates to Nicole. And remember, we barely gave Laurel and Nicole time, y'all. We did not want to hear it because we were over it. And we knew that it was just nasty between them. Like there was no mending that relationship. So we didn't feel the need to dive deeper into it. But it has to do with Nicole at the end of the day. And obviously the way that Laurel treats Cara, because Ryan and Cara also have built a very strong relationship. And then we see Amanda obviously talking to Casey in what seems to be like the dining table, one of the dining tables in the house. And Amanda's like, listen, if I go up against Naya, I'm dead. And I was like, honestly, yeah, Amanda, like, let's hope you don't go against Naya, but it's looking rough.
I see, that's the thing. Like, are you gonna put her against Naya? Because if you do that, she's right. Depending on what it is, though, because it could be,
depending on what it is,
a puzzle. It could be something that's like an equalizer. But if it's like solely based on strength, like we all know Amanda is a small girl. Like she's not gonna succeed in that. So, I mean, she has a point, but she says like she's depending on Corey to stand up to Tori, and I'm really hoping that, at least in the beginning of the episode, I'm hoping that he does do that.
Right. So then we see more people obviously discussing, like some of the winners discussing, like Laurel, who would she put up? She jokes around, or maybe, I don't know if she was joking or not. Says that Aviv apparently spilled like electrolytes on her head, and she decided because of that she's going in. She says that, oh, this is the comment where she also makes like, oh, Emily has strong muscles and all this stuff, so she wants her on her team, which would leave it up to Cara. Listen,
which is crazy. I'm sorry, but make it make sense for me. So you're saying that, okay, Aviv did this, so I get it. I don't get it, but I get it for you, Laurel. That makes sense. She's an option. But then you're gonna choose Emily because she has muscle over Cara, who literally was second in the whole entire challenge. It's not making sense. Like, and she also
No, and
says
then
that she wants to, if she has to take the shot, it's best to do it now. Which in my head, like, I don't know. Her
no, and
logic
then what's
doesn't make
funny is
sense to
that
me.
Emily and Aviv are apparently fighting for third place on social media, guys. Like nobody really knows who came in third place. And does it really matter? No. Either you're in the bottom or you're the winner of the challenge. Like point blank period. It does not matter if you place third. I don't care. I don't care for it. But
Right.
I just thought it was very interesting. I was like, I don't think that you should be relying on Emily, considering y'all haven't seen Emily play in a long time. And you know what Carl's capable of. You can take her out. Clearly, Laurel, if you beat Carl in the past, you could beat her
She
again,
shouldn't bother
can't you?
you that much. Yeah.
But anyway,
It's very much giving like, okay, this girl was too close to me in the last season that we did together, which was All Stars 4. And now I see her as like an actual threat. So
yeah. So we continue to see them have these conversations of like who's gonna go in, who's gonna go up against the person, the bottom folks, or the people that are going straight into elimination. Obviously, we hear some people explain their whys and their reasonings as to why they're in doing this challenge and their motivation. Like Kellyanne, she mentions like the sanctuary for animals. That's something that she holds very near and dear to her heart. Then we see them later on in the house. Obviously, they're still chatting it up, like having a good time, you know, building these bonds and having these side conversations. We see a moment where, you know, Tia explains that Era One, they are going to sleep at 9 p.m. They don't got it in them no more like they used to. Okay, the old days
honestly, I'm with her.
are
I would have
over.
been right there asleep.
Right, especially after a challenge like that. I'm tired, I'm winded. And it was just funny. And then we also see a moment where like Theo and Olivia are talking, and Laurel, I personally thought it was weird that Laurel was like kiss, and I said, girl, you're pushing 40, stop acting like that. I don't know, that's just me, y'all. That's just me. Like, mind your
It
business.
was kind of like, what are you doing? Like,
Right,
mind your business.
like,
Exactly.
anyway, and then we also see a conversation where again Horacio's trying to motivate Nerys and try to like get her to see the positive side to this whole situation. That at the end of the day, they're gonna give her whoever she wants. And she says if she wants, she would want Olivia if it's a headbanger, and Jenny if it's a puzzle. She definitely does not want to go against Casey. And
Which I don't understand why, because Casey matches up with you size wise better to me than Olivia if it's physical.
Yeah, I guess so. I'm not entirely sure in terms of the weight class, but maybe you might be right on that. I don't know for sure. But I thought that was interesting. She was just like, no, and I get it because we've seen Casey like perform very well in elimination, so I understand that too. What I do want to point out is that in this conversation or after this conversation, why did Banana feel like he had the privilege and the nerve, the audacity, the gall, and the gumption to make a comment about Nerys and Horacio and having a
That
relationship
it's
and
not
how
smart to have a relationship in the challenge
you,
and all this stuff. Yeah, you.
Banana
That
Man,
it
the
was
one
it was
who is
giving
always
salty a
laying
little
down
bit.
with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Please, please, is it because of what happened with Mariah? Huh? Is it because of
Possibly
that?
that he made about himself her whole entire season.
You finally
Mm-hmm.
learned after Mariah because you didn't learn the fucking last 10 times you did it? Oh, interesting. I was just like, Bananas, please. Like, nobody wants to hear from you about people dating each other within the challenge house. Like, to be quite honest, you are not equipped to have this conversation. You can't even take anybody seriously, like, in real life. Anyways, I was annoyed by that. I was like, mind your freaking business. Like,
Again,
ew.
yeah, another one. Mind your business.
But
But
yeah.
Yeah, I know there was another moment. I think it was Theo actually saying that he wants to go against Paulie, and it's another one of those things where I'm like, y'all are still bringing up this old drama from like years ago. Like, you're really just harping on that right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It was weird to me.
But
But
I
one thing
understood that.
that
I understood them more than like
mhm,
because they really haven't seen each other.
right, but like, people grow, and that was years ago. Like, I don't know. It was I
Storyline
think
though.
for me, Theo like is naturally just an athletic person, and so is Paulie. So I would think they would just put it in the past and say like, hey, like, let's work to make our team the best, but apparently not.
Yeah,
But
no.
one thing that
I
I
didn't
did
expect
like,
that at all.
actually, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. One thing that I did like seeing though was Leroy talking about his daughter, who actually was just born 2 weeks before he headed out there. Which was to me kind of crazy because I'm like, damn, y'all left Cam alone. But he's doing it for his
Wild.
family. Um, but yeah, I didn't know it was that close to her
Recent.
birth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I was very surprised that it was like that close to her giving birth to their daughter. And like, I can only imagine. And that's another reason why I'm like, okay, maybe Leroy didn't fight it with the whole thing with Devin because of the fact that he's just like, honestly, if I go home, I'll be fine because I get to be with my daughter, my wife, and my son, like with my family at the end of the day.
Right.
They're not
And
married
he
yet, but
said he didn't even bring pictures of them because
pictures
he
or
didn't want to start
nothing.
crying. Yeah.
Oh, I felt so bad. I was like, oh, I did love the fact that he was kind of talking about that with Casey because Casey had also just expressed that like her and Nani want to have kids too. So I thought that was a really cute moment. I said, oh, okay, little cute callback to that. But
Yeah.
yeah, you could just tell that Leroy he's mentally not there. He's trying his best, but he's not there. So again, I'm not surprised by his performance, but I'm like, I always root for Leroy because I really do want Leroy to go far and eventually become a champ. But it's
Yeah.
tough. It's tough. Like, come on. And then we get to see CT because CT talking to Derek about who is going to go up. CT's kind of like surprised by Darrell's performance, and he was more impressed by Brad's. Derek K is over here telling CT like, yeah, but like this is like a best friend versus best friend kind of situation. Like Mark is my guy, but Darrell is my guy. He's been there for me for a lot of things, and he even says like, Brad is kind of like in the outside,
On the outside.
on the
Mhm.
outside when it comes to that era's friendship, which I thought was really interesting for him to say that.
Well, I
Because
know he's
yeah,
like, I think he's younger compared to
yeah, I
all of
think he's the
them, if I'm
younger
not
one. Yep.
mistaken.
So I just thought that was very interesting, but CT was just very surprised, and CT even said it. He's like, if it came down to like only two guys outside of myself to be able to represent Era One, I would have wanted it to be you, Derek, and Darrell. But I understand where CT's like what's going on with Darrell, but I'm
I
like
mean, but it was the first challenge. Like, you got to
challenge.
also understand that it incorporated puzzles, it incorporated water. It wasn't stuff that was easy. Like, if you give
Mm-hmm.
or not Leroy, Darrell something that is sprint to here and then make sure you get this on land, I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
he'll be at the top of that. So
Yeah,
I
I
think I was
agree
a
with that.
little surprised by him making those remarks, if I'm gonna be honest.
Me too, me too. And then we see Derek obviously offer himself up like pretty much in his confessional, like, if it comes down to it, I might just have to, protect Darrell. And I'm like, okay, I'm also surprised where this is going. And then we also see the conversation between Rachel and Mark that for the girls, it's in between Jody and Anissa, which
Hmm.
I'm not surprised because it's the Jody later on, she says that she came in third place. And then Anissa, I'm assuming, was fourth. And then obviously it was Katie that was last. I'm not
It
surprised that
was funny
Anissa.
though.
What?
It was funny though because I do remember Anissa saying like she feels kind of comfortable at one point in the episode because like you know Rachel's her ex and
And
they
they're
were
close
also
friends.
paired together. They're close
Hmm.
friends, so she's not as worried. Um, but when Rachel said that, I was like, oof,
Yeah.
Anissa's not
And
gonna like this.
it's always just like, Anissa, but like, why do you feel so comfortable? Like, you have to perform. Like, anyway. So yeah, though that concludes like the conversations that were had before they go into the chamber and have their deliberations as to who's going to be nominated to go against the losers. And pretty
Mhm.
much we see these conversations play out by era. So we go with era 1, and Derek K ultimately puts himself up. And then we see another CT tip. If somebody
Mhm.
offers themselves up to go on the block to go into elimination, don't say a word. Don't try to be
Mhm.
Captain Save a Hoe.
Let it
Let him
happen.
do. And Darrell did that. He said, "Listen, I love you, Derek, but I don't love you that much to go down for you." And I said, "Damn, that's kind of grimy."
I wonder if Derek watched it back like, damn, why'd I
Derek
do
did
that?
watch that back. You know, Derek gonna ask Darrell about it on the pod and everything.
Mhm.
That was funny as hell. But I was like, it's true. And we know that for all shows, guys. Like Big Brother, the same thing. Don't put yourself as a pawn. Don't put yourself up on the block for anybody.
The one
That's
thing you want to
dumb.
do is stay safe. Stay
Stay
safe.
safe. Stay
That's
off
it.
the elimination chopping block. Point blank,
Or
period. Don't throw
win.
yourself down for people. Win or don't throw yourself down for somebody else. Because you could go home.
Mm-hmm.
And then for the girls, Tina says, to be fair, she would choose the fourth place person. Rachel says, to be fair, she's going to leave it up to CT to make the decision for the
Oof.
girls. And then
You see
Rachel's going to make.
Anissa's face?
I knew it right there. I said, "Oh, Anissa, you are going in." Okay. There's no way you're getting out of that because she's right. CT has always consistently put in Anissa. He do not care. He'd be like, "Anissa, you're going
Mm-mm.
in. I don't care." And then
Yeah, I don't
another
know. I go ahead. Go
another
ahead.
funny moment that I was the Jody thing. Like Jody was like, "I came in third by a lot," and I was like, "Oh, Jody."
Jody was not having it.
Jody said, "You guys need me, okay? What is he
Mm-hmm.
gonna offer? A sprained ankle?" She didn't say all
Ooh,
that.
not
She
a
didn't say all
sprained
that, but
ankle.
you know, I'm just saying, like, oh, but
Not
that
the
was
sprained
funny.
ankle.
Everyone was quick though. They made their decisions fast. Or well, we don't really see if they're ultimately gonna pick Anissa or not, but we can tell it's gonna be Anissa. Then we go
Yeah.
into era 2,
Mm.
and Ryan
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Ryan says if he has to choose, it's ultimately gonna be Brandon. And Brandon, speak on this real quick. Speak on era 2 and their deliberation.
All right. So, like, with Era 2, the boys, it was like we didn't really get that much on the boys. They kind of made the comment of, or Ryan made the comment of, if he has to choose anyone, I think it would be Brandon. And you kind of see Brandon a little frazzled, but I don't think he's like that surprised. I think he's ready to like prove himself and whatnot. Now, for the girls, this is where it gets a little spicy. So, Aviv makes the case that she may not have some of the relationships that everyone else has within this era, but she also doesn't have the same vendettas that everybody has within the era. And I was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, Aviv, she studied.
Okay.
She knew what to say.
I see your angle there. I see the angle.
Right.
Okay.
I was like, okay. I wasn't expecting that. I thought she was just going to take it with grace and go in, but it's nice to see her fighting for herself. But I will say, the main event was definitely Cara Maria. So she basically lets Bananas and Laurel know it's no secret that they don't get along, and they have a long history between the three of them. And if they were to erase that, and start fresh and look at the challenge that they did, they would realize that she came in second place among everybody, right? And if it wasn't a man and a woman sitting in the winner's chairs, she would be sitting where Bananas is, respectfully. So,
Respectfully.
respectfully. So she says, so you can do the predictable and send her in or do something unexpected and work together within this new era. And I was like, oh, another one. She like mic dropped and that was it. I was like, wow, that was probably the best deliberation I've ever seen Cara in. And she made nothing but points, to be honest.
She did. But Laurel and Bananas are not willing to receive it. They said, yeah, whatever. Literally.
You saw Banana's face. He had nothing to say. He literally
Bananas was
like
yeah, because it's true. She would have been in that spot if it wasn't a man or a woman that had to be the placements. But I was dying because he was just like, oh, what if it was the other way around or whatever? And she's like, you're bringing up hypotheticals. We're talking about right now. Like, stay on topic, Banana Man. Okay, John, stay on topic. And
very
shout out to you, Cara. That was really good. Like, honestly, like you said, definitely one of her best deliberation moments. And I thought she did great, but of course, like Laurel and Bananas, they're not willing to receive that. And Laurel was still like, no, pretty much. So I was like, okay, well, it seems like Cara's gonna freaking go in regardless, which is annoying.
Yeah.
And then we get to era 3, which is another. Honestly,
another one.
The drama gave. Honestly, like even though some of the stuff is repetitive, is redundant, is old, but it still gave. You know, I was really like, okay. So Tony asked, like, who do you
39 and a half?
Yeah, exactly. Because 39, I was like, bro, like, what's going on? Y'all don't do nothing. Y'all are not upfront with each other. Until like later on, and it was really just Nerys, Horacio, and Kylan against the whole house for the most part. So for era 3, Tony asked, and mind you, Tony had already had this type of conversation with Corey the day prior and said, who do the guys have a better chance at winning against, him or Jordan? And Jordan goes into the whole thing like, oh, well, we have to be great as a team, and I'm going to get y'all to the final. Okay, but I don't want to go against you in a final, point blank, period. Which is Tony's whole angle. And I understand Tony trying, then obviously like Corey's not budging, unfortunately. And it looks like Tony's going to be the one that goes into the elimination. Very annoying. And he'll be going against Leroy. It's just so irritating. I'm just like, bro, like, can you please get Jordan out? Like, I get it. Like, okay,
y'all have the opportunity, but
the
just
chances aren't high, right, for Leroy to beat Jordan. However, there's still
but the chances weren't high when Leroy beat Bananas that one time either,
right?
And he did it,
and he did do it. So I was just annoyed by that. I was like, when are y'all gonna have another chance to put Jordan in? Realistically speaking.
I don't get how this guy skates all the time.
Johnny even pointed it out. She's like, you got Jordan's ex-fiance here, and his and Devin, who is Devin is Tori's best friend. They not putting Jordan in. They gonna put in Tony, point blank, period. So I was just like, this sucks. Like I hate this situation. And then we get to Amanda. She tells the group that her and Corey are doing this for Nelson. And as y'all all know or may not know, Nelson dealt with a very tragic, like almost tragic accident and ended up losing his leg due to the accident and has been recovering since. And, hopefully Nelson is still doing great on his recovery, and he looks to be doing a lot better than he was. But Corey and Amanda have
him back.
Yeah, have always had a very close relationship with Nelson. But then Corey's like, oh, you got to bring something up else aside from Nelson. And I was like, okay, you're doing a lot. So then she points out.
I did not like that.
Me either.
I did not like that at all.
But then he goes, or not, he goes, Amanda points out, we are the outliers of this group. Our friends from this
Mm-hmm.
era are not here with us. You know this, Corey,
Mm-hmm.
very well, because your back is always up against the wall when it comes to the Vacation Alliance. And they always
Mm-hmm. They
steamroll
don't
you.
have no. They have no Lavender Ladies, and they have no Team Youngbuck. It's literally them two. So she again another one speaking nothing but facts.
But my
Make it
favorite
make
part,
sense in these people's
right? Like, be fucking for real, Corey. Like, wake up. But my favorite
right.
part
But your
is her
favorite
saying,
part, go ahead.
is her telling Tori, I'm not gonna kiss your ass.
Nope.
I'm never gonna like you. I don't like
Nope.
you. I'm not gonna like you
Nope.
after this. So I'm gonna just
Nope.
keep it a buck with you, okay? And listen,
Mm-hmm.
one thing y'all could say everything y'all want to say under the sun about Amanda, but one thing about Amanda, she's always gonna keep it real. She's always gonna keep it 100, and she's not going to mince her words when it comes to Tori. I
Nope.
don't
She's not
care.
gonna kiss her ass. Nope.
But
At
she
all.
makes a point and says, surprisingly, though, you and I have similar friends. And that is
Mm-hmm.
also keeping you here as well, because I'm looking out for our friends as well. And I said, there you go,
Yeah,
Amanda.
like my girls literally did their
The growth.
thing.
They did
The
so
growth.
good. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
yes, Amanda, point it out. Point it out. The people that are protecting you are also protecting me. And I will
Mm-hmm.
protect them. So inadvertently, like, I'm keeping you here.
You
Keep
need
that in
me.
mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But anyway,
And
so
guess
that,
who had
yeah,
nothing to say? Guess who had nothing to
Tor
say and had just like, yep. Mm-hmm.
sat there.
Very much so.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and apparently, Amanda also dragged Tony during this deliberation, but we didn't get to see it. According to GamerVev, shout out to GamerVev and any of the spoiler accounts, Pink Roy, Rose, all of them on Twitter. Apparently, Amanda has some words for Tony, but we didn't get to see it, which is unfortunate. But hey, we got to see a little bit of something. And then we go to Era 4. And go ahead,
Which
Brandon.
also
Let us
had a
know.
lot of drama. So with
Mm-hmm.
Era 4, the show was about Nerys, basically. So with the girls, Nerys basically says her two options are against Olivia and Jenny. But she's going to choose Olivia. But then Michelle goes into her little soap opera moment. She's like, what Horacio is to you is what Olivia is to me.
Aww. Aww.
And she's
Is
crying. And
that
I'm like,
so?
Michelle, if you don't stop crying, you won. Like,
Boo-hooing. Boo-hooing. And Kylan's like over here like, didn't y'all do that
he's
to us multiple
laughing.
times last season? Kylan.
Exactly.
I
Like
would have laughed in her face.
it was very comical. Um, but either way, I think it was just funny because Nerys was like, I don't care that she's crying. Like, this is who I want.
Yeah, like what are you crying for? What, you thought she was gonna be safe the entire time? Good luck trying to win every freaking time.
Apparently, but that's where the girls left off. Then we get into the boys, and Paulie says to Theo that so basically he's been hearing around the house that his name has been said, and if his name has been said, this is this person's chance to go against him and put something to rest. So if he's been telling people that he wants him, now's his chance, and they can finish it in the sand. And this is what I missed about Paulie as well, because he's very direct. He doesn't play it like you want to go against him. Come on, like because I don't think Theo like mentioned it to him specifically around the house. I think it was just like a her thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and Theo said that's what's gonna basically happen. Like, and then he goes into this whole little like situation where
Yeah.
he's explaining that Paulie's a backstabber and a liar and all this
And a
stuff. And I'm like,
coward.
a coward. And I'm like, okay, so he's bringing up stuff from, I think it was War of the Worlds
The war
2.
too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like, this was years ago. Like, and y'all are on the same team. Get Josh out. How about that? Like, make it make
Right.
sense.
Right.
Uh,
Because
but
Josh
yeah,
is over
that's
here
kind
bringing up.
of
That was another thing. Josh is over here bringing up his alliances with other eras, and Pauly's like, yeah, but the people that you are aligned with, they don't got the best reputation. Let me tell
right.
you. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
clock it, Pauly. I enjoy Pauly. Like, granted, Pauly has not showcased his skill set to the best of his abilities in the last few appearances that he's made. However, Pauly to me is always very entertaining. He literally reminds me of a
Mm-hmm.
WWE wrestler. Like, everything that he does
Very
is so
much.
WWE coded. I just feel like he needs to be on there because it's just so dramatic. And like, I love how intense he was looking at Theo, and they're right across the table from each other, all pissed and shit.
Wait,
It was fun.
did you peep how
Kylan and Josh,
Kylan and Josh?
they were like,
It was
that's
so
that's
good.
gonna that's gonna be Kylan and Josh apparently later on in the season when they apparently start messing with somebody. Yeah,
I
but
forgot
let's
about
not.
that. Mm.
I'm just saying because it was in the trailer, y'all. It was in the trailer. Definitely look at the trailer to see
Mm-hmm.
what happens. There's a lot of spoilers in the trailer. If you're into that. But yeah, so it was just really funny how they were just there in the moment. And that's where we leave off at, y'all. Like, it's intense. There's a lot of history between these players. A lot of tension is building. And I mean, I would not be surprised. Obviously it's gonna be Pauly and Theo that go into the sand at this point. Like, at least era
Mm-hmm.
4 is determined with the guys. Nerys is gonna get Olivia. She's gonna get her wish. For era 3, it's most likely gonna be Tony. I don't see Jordan going down there at all.
Nope.
Amanda,
Probably Amanda.
I
I
hate
hope
that because
not,
I
but
really feel
like,
like it should be Avery. I feel like it should be Avery.
see, I forgot she was even there. We didn't even mention her. Again.
Again, I really don't even get me started because listen, Avery, you seem to be a very sweet girl, but it's very frustrating the fact that you are essentially in someone else's place and that person is Ashley Millionaire Mitchell.
Ashley.
Like, Ashley deserved to be in that spot that you are
I'm
in.
sorry, even Naya, I love Naya. I think she's great, but I think Naya's spot, even though I don't love this person like a lot of people do, should have been given to Nani. And
Oh
that
yeah,
should have
yes.
been their era girls. But
Yeah,
I
I
mean, I
agree.
hope they pull it out and do some great stuff, but I
Mm-hmm.
keep forgetting they're there.
And then for era 2, it looks like it's definitely gonna be Ryan versus Brandon, and then it might be Cara or Aviv against Kellyanne. Um, so we'll see that. And then era 1, of course, it's Derek versus Mark, and then it's definitely gonna be Anissa, Anissa versus Katie. Hey, but yeah, so
She
those.
might get her wish for the
Oh,
elimination
right.
record.
Right,
There you
exactly. She might be Cara finally in the elimination wins, because it means so much
Mhm.
when you've lost
Oh, but wait, maybe
16.
not because Cara might be going in too. So they'll be tied again
Right.
if
Oh my God,
anything, if they don't
imagine.
lose.
Yeah, let's see what happens. But great episode, great part 1. I will say I really don't like it when we end episodes with no eliminations, but I understand it. There's a part 2, and I'm sure they're gonna focus on the eliminations. And then episode 3, they're gonna go back to their usual thing or however they set it up. I also do hope that the deliberation in general changes. It does seem to change based on the trailer. It looks like they will be voting people in moving forward or at a certain point in the game. It's not going to be like the eras meeting one by one.
Mm.
I really do hope that's not like they're not going to keep doing
Why
this
you don't
format.
like that format?
No, I don't really like the eras
The
voting.
talking.
I just feel like it wasted so much time. Like, but I
I
mean, like,
felt
I
like
liked
they
it.
should have all been at the table together, and then that way, if you have friends in other eras, those people can kind of speak up for you, and it'll speak to how the relationships in the house matter across the board. That's how
But
I
yeah,
thought it should have been.
but I think
But
it was just because of the fact that they're going up against each other to get rid of the weakest
mm-hmm.
links of their eras. But I do think that it'll eventually change with the next few episodes. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, all in all, I was entertained, y'all. It was a really good first episode. They did their thing. You know, some of the editing was
Mm-hmm.
choppy, as we've seen some of the challengers say. You know, even though they wanted to talk about coming in third or fourth, like, come on now, like, be fucking for real. That's not important. But either way, I do hope that they continue showing us the drama. Please do not stop hiding the drama. That is what we love about the challenge. Aside from the competition aspect, yes, but like, that is the foundation of this dang show. The relationships, the history, the
Right. Let us
tension.
see it
Like,
all. We
let us see it
waited.
all.
We're
Right.
paying a subscription for stuff for
Right.
it. So come
Yeah, and,
on.
and for the people that are even paying for stuff, they can't even access the show. So damn.
Right.
Damn, production. Get it together. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, any other points that you want to make about the episode so far?
No, I think I agree with you in a sense because I don't like when episodes leave us on cliffhangers. I personally thought that the episode was great. Um, but I think that it should have been a 2-hour premiere, like they usually
Right.
do, or an hour and a half, or something to give us the action of the eliminations, because that would have been cool to see within the first night, like, and really hype people up, I think, instead of the cliffhanger of like, oh, what's gonna happen, you know?
Yeah, and I feel like it would have gotten us a little bit further because this is also going to clash. It's already clashing time wise with Big Brother, right? And it's also going to clash once Survivor starts. So I was kind of thinking that they would take advantage of the fact that they don't have Survivor to compete with, like, viewers wise.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but hey, Survivor starts next month, so they got a month to go to really get people to stick by them and watch the show. But yeah, I'm excited for the season, guys. Like, it was really, really good. First episode, definitely better than the last. Way
Yeah,
better
my
than the
favorite thing
last.
about the whole episode, though, I have to shout them out. The girls, again provided the entertainment, and just like the smarts. Like I can't speak any more highly of them. Like they were amazing.
The reason why the ratings are the highest they've been in a long time is because of the women. Duh.
As Rachel said, yup.
As Rachel said. But that is all for us tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Please make sure to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Hit us up on Instagram. Follow us on there at Reality Unloaded Pod. And make sure to follow us on TikTok as well at Reality Unloaded Podcast. Dang, I'm tongue twisted. Like, shit. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be on the lookout for the next review, which will be next Thursday. And we're also going to be covering a couple of other shows like Drag Race, Global Drag Race All Stars, and Love Island Reunion. Okay. Love Island Reunion on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
So if you also watch Love Island, make sure to be on the lookout for our reunion recap and review because we are definitely covering that. Okay. And
Yup.
like Leah would say, mimicking Rob, they're sending 3 home. Now you're sending 3 home. Now TJ's like, now you're sending 8 home, kind of thing. So just be prepared because next week 8 people are leaving. And with that being said, bye everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.